The All Smiling Faces podcast is now sponsored by Tyre Spot, the Northeast's leading tyre supplier with branches across the region. Tyre Spot don't just do tyres, they cover everything from servicing to wheel alignment. They can handle every aspect of your car's maintenance. For more information, visit tyrespot.co.uk. Enjoy the episode. Good evening, everybody. Welcome back to the Always Smiling Faces podcast on the GallowgateShots YouTube channel. It is myself, Chris, your host tonight, joined by Bestie Decker and Mr. Mark Walker. Boys, I'm just going to jump straight into this one. We're going to leave England to the end of the podcast because I don't want to fill up too much time yet again of a Newcastle United podcast, but we will come on to that for those that are already asking questions. News this week, just after, as always, when we stop recording on a Monday night, news tends to follow us the next couple of days. The news this week is that Paul Mitchell has been appointed in a role at the club, another bum on a seat. And
that definitely happened last week.
Was that in the last week?
That was in last week. Come on, do you not remember me Mitchell Brothers joke?
Oh, shit, I did mention it. Sorry.
Come on.
Yeah, but it was. But we didn't really talk
about
about
comedy.
I don't remember that.
Classic comedy.
Yeah.
It was really good.
We didn't.
I remember breaking down barriers.
Breaking down barriers. Yeah,
I had a nightmare about that.
There's no barriers being broken down tonight. But the news this week, boys, big and shocking news to a certain extent, is that Amanda Staveley and Mehrdad Guddusi have left Newcastle United. We knew, Bessie, I'll come to you first of all. We knew it was going to be a short-term thing that Staveley was going to be at the club. Despite in a lot of interviews, she said that she wanted to be here long-term. But I think with such a small share that she had in the football club, that I think she's probably always going to get muscled out to a certain degree, where she might keep some sort of role at the club. But I was always under the impression that the ownership would dwindle out. But we'll touch on that in a bit more. But were you shocked at how fast this happened?
Yeah, totally out of the blue, I thought. I mean, was it 80-10-10? The share. So PIF were 80, the Rubens were 10.
It wasn't until last week. So
yeah,
last year she diluted a bit. The Rubens bought her shares and just dropped to 6%.
Yeah. So it was kind of, I think the signs were kind of there when that happened. I mean, she brought a statement out saying that she was still very much involved and all that, and she's still a director. Head, what was it? There's a phrase that she used, head up or co-op or something like that. Like, I forgot what it was exactly.
Yeah, that was after the kind of the diluted number of old companies and stuff like that as well.
So even then, in her kind of releasing that statement, it was implied that there was no indication that she was going to be away by the time the new season started.
Well, just the week before, Bestie, she had put a message on Instagram saying that she couldn't wait for the season to start. Really excited for the upcoming season.
Well, I mean, so man, I don't know. I've got no financial. But yeah, it total surprise, and kind of the tongues have been wagging, and people have been speculating as to what it is what is the reason? Is it because of the PSR, the last minute nature of how that was resolved, or was last season seen as a bit of a failure, and so they've had to? Because I mean, we've all talked on here about the
you starting off rumours,
the transfer window last summer. You've got to read through, is there? And how like the Tonali thing kind of. Through no fault of theirs, that went wrong. Why have they got Harvey Barnes and Anthony Gordon in the same kind of, we've kind of talked about why have two wonderful left wingers and a deficiency at right wing, shall we say?
Comparatively. Anything else you want to blame them for? Maybe it's like
your part
the conflict in Gaza or something like that. You seem to be chucking everything at them.
I'm not going to touch that one. No, I'm not trying anything. I'm saying here reasons why it might have been, but I mean. A concern I've had about it, why them haven't gone is kind of, I said, what's up with it when it was announced? Like, they were, to me, a bit of a buffer between Howe and upstairs, like the Guddusi and Ben Salmon, and even, Rubens, but like, they were like the human kind of face of it all. I think it was, even though it feels a lot more, and it might not be because it's only been a few days, but it feels a lot colder just having like a nation state running here. And Jamie Rubens now got 15, I think it's 85, 15 now. So yeah, it does feel a bit kind of when the takeover was announced, it was Amanda and Murdad that kind of was shaking hands outside of Jesmond Dean Hotel, and watching the Amazon documentary, it was kind of they were front and center, weren't they?
Yeah, of course it was.
With everything that you look at when they signed Anthony Gordon. And
it's probably because they had technically done all the legwork to get to this point. Obviously, Amanda Steve was it back in 2017?
A while ago, yeah.
That's her first interest in the football club. Had a failed attempt at buying it back then, but obviously kept on it and eventually got what she wanted. So that's probably why she was that face of the club for a certain amount of time.
Well, yeah, but with regards to there's a total shock. I thought, I mean, even with the kind of apparent temporary nature of what they were planning to do, I still think I was expecting them to kind of say a trophy or something like that. Or they would say they get to a level and go, you know what it is, that's probably time that we stepped off. Because look, reading between the lines, it feels as if it wasn't their decision.
Yeah. So the quote was, I can't exactly, but basically, but what you're saying, Bessie, is that
it was reluctance, wasn't it?
Reluctantly leaving the club. Decker, we touched on this last season when Eddie Howe was going through a difficult patch with his results. Was November, December time it was, and we were thinking, do the Saudis see it right? That's it, new manager in. But I think there was probably a lack of availability from decent managers out there at the time. But having said that, the likes of having two voices in the boardroom in Amanda Staveley and Murdad, has that shielded Eddie Howe a little bit? So does Eddie Howe lose that little bit of protection which he had in the boardroom?
I think so, and that's my biggest worry. I think if it all happened, it was something that I expected to happen, just not as quick as it has. I mean, bless her, she's tried to get the football club, try and have her, if you like, longer than she's actually been there, which is quite sad. But it's very sad, really. She tried for a lot longer to get her. I think that's the only thing I remember the documentary. I think screamed that of how much input she had. And I remember when we seen it after that. I remember after we seen it, and I said, "God, I can't believe how much like day to day you're involved." Like, and she was like, "I never stopped." Like, and I was like, I never thought that. Like on the outside looking in, and you know when it's put disrespectful actually, really, but when it originally happened, I kept thinking, "Oh, they're just the face." Like, they won't actually have that much to do in the background. And then, you know, I was totally wrong of how much input they had. And I do think that buffer's there. Like, if the results are wrong or whatever's happening, I just think that they're reporting back going, but these are the reasons. And you hope now, of course, that Eels and Mitchell and all the rest of the gang do the same, you hope.
Do you think that's one of the reasons why it's happened this quickly? Because obviously we've had... Who was the first appointment a couple of weeks back? The one with the most American name ever. Brad.
Oh, I don't remember, but yeah.
Brad something. Brad.
Hank Zimmerman.
Who?
I don't know. That's just a really American
Zimmerman. No, there was a really American Brad somebody. But then obviously Mitchell's joined as well. Do you think now that there's bums on seats doing the roles that really are assigned to somebody with experience now, that is once again just pushed Amanda Staveley out of that position, Mark? Because, like I said, when the takeover first came through, yes, she was the one doing all the graft, her behind the scenes, her and Dan Ashworth to a certain degree. But obviously, he was on garden leave for quite a bit of shock. But the likes of the Anthony Gordon signing, Bruno Gordon, Bruno Gomeres, heavily involved with that because nobody else could do it.
No, and I think ultimately, even though she wasn't the chairperson, you know, in name, certainly in responsibilities and roles, she was fulfilling that job in the day-to-day running of it, the making of decisions and agreement. And I know they spoke about things that it was a collective decision. They would get together as a board, as a group of people, etc., on the key decisions. But she, as you say, was kind of the face of it and
did a damn good job as well.
I mean, you kind
no experience either.
You kind of take that away, and I think, you know, a bit like as Decker said, I kind of did expect it to happen. But it's the timing of it, kind of coming so close to the start of the new season, just off the back of some of the things that we've had going on. Obviously, getting the other positions in place with Dan Ashworth's replacement, him bringing in his right-hand man and getting things running there. We all know that she's obviously got some personal financial issues that might have been a big swinger towards it. Are the reasons that she's needed to make that decision. That's a kind of the way that I look at it when in that statement that you said around her reluctantly selling it, because like rather than her being forced out potentially by PIF, I think it's more so as circumstances have meant that she's needed to do it.
It feels like she's constantly been getting sued by somebody or other.
Just
She's always in court.
Well, this
It's
is
just the same case.
this is the question that I've never spoken to you about
The
this.
Barclays one.
Yeah, there's another bank.
was
I think,
another
as
one.
well.
There's two, wasn't there?
Yeah,
There's
yeah.
two cases in the
So
background.
that we've never really spoke about this at all, even in the group or anything like that. But me question to you was: do you think it is? Is it that they've seen there's a lot of stuff going on in the background with her in regards to all of this, court
Well,
cases
it's a bit
and
of a
all that?
circus, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a circus. You could use that word. Are they saying, your time's up now? Sorry, go. Or is it she's cashed in reluctantly? I know she's using the term reluctantly because she's had to fund the costs or the damages or whatever it may be.
I think it's in
what
a
do you
way.
think?
So that's a good point. But I think maybe because everything which has happened with PSR, right? Maybe we're at a point now where the likes of PIF want to invest a lot more now, and they can possibly push the boundaries with that. Staveley needs to keep up and match. Well, not match, but obviously to a certain degree, invest to what the Saudis are as well. She can't just sit back and go, "Well, you plow all the money in."
Yeah, I thought
I
that as
think it's
well.
It would be a percentage of it, wouldn't it? So
Well,
Yeah.
that's the reason that
thought
our shares have been diluted,
Yeah.
because they
She can't keep
have
up with
more
it.
of a
Yeah, that's right.
and,
impact on
and
what
that's
they
what
put
I
into
think
the
it
group.
is.
And if the share price is going to be going up because of success, then if there are fewer people at the table having a slice, it increases the return for the Saudis and for the Rubens. So
I think it's exactly that. I think she's probably at a point now, and hence the reluctantly leaving the football club. Maybe she just can't keep up with the funding.
Well, she can, but she's, I guess, effectively an employee of the club and of them. So despite her having a stakeholder in it, because she's not a majority stakeholder, you look at any big, huge corporation, they get given shares as part of the company. That doesn't mean they then have to put any additional money invest in it, because they're not that majority, and they're not kind of a financial backer of the club. However, they're getting almost a reward with it, because dividends, share prices, all of that kind of thing almost goes towards like a bonus, paying the salary kind of stuff on top of it.
And she always classed herself, Bestie, as a custodian of the football club.
yeah,
When she first arrived there, reading what people will, but I think, just like I said at the start, despite her saying in numerous interviews that she wanted to be here for a long term, and obviously saying that Newcastle would win this, Newcastle would win that, she's probably the carpet's probably been swept underneath her here at some point, and it's a huge bombshell just to be dropped on her as well. Thinking, shit, like I'm gone.
yeah.
Especially with the investment and the time that's just put into the football club, but to the women's side of the thing as well.
Yeah, that was a concern of mine when they announced it, and I thought, because that was a bit of a passion project of hers. And you've only got to look at Man United, how Jim Ratcliffe's kind of, he's got the lasses training in porter cabins and that, and he's basically like, Mary Earps has left someone else. Ella Toon's still there, she gone. Or someone else left Man U's women's team, like a big name. And I think Earps has said, maybe he's reading between the lines of an interview, that it's because Man United are treating the playing staff very well. And I was a little bit concerned, like, with how well the lasses have done 2 promotions in a row, fully professional, now starting. It's a massive step up in the championship, and wondering, were they going to get the same level of care and attention that Amanda was apparently giving them? And then the day later, in fact, might even be the same day they signed Demi Stokes.
Yeah,
I think it was beforehand, to be fair.
It might have been the sign, but they announced
made like about three major signings
They've got
kind of in the
four
run up.
I think there's been quite a few, hasn't there?
got the Sunderland, the keeper from Sunderland, who was player of the season in the championship last season, who played for Newcastle years ago. Demi Stokes got last from Bristol City, and I think one from Reading, but I might be wrong about that. But 4 good signings, for a club level Newcastle women's team, kind of thinking who they've been playing against in the past, the level they've been at. It's quite an ambitious summer for them so far, and I'll do. And it said, even though Stokes was announced after Amanda left, or it was announced that Amanda left, the photos and whatnot would have been taken before, because I noticed the photos of the stadium still had the old Sports Direct style Newcastle United on it, so it would have been a week or two, whatever ago. So yeah, I mean, I suppose that remains a bit of a concern. That I hope that whoever it is that now is in charge of directing the custodian, as it is, of the women's teams, kind of still got that level of interest and ambition for them.
I thought when Mitchell came in, normally from memory, and I could be wrong here, but you normally see a welcome message from Amanda Staveley, so it'll be like, you know, the club announces this, and it'll be Amanda says, "We are thrilled to have him in." There was nothing like that, and I did think, like,
I didn't notice that.
why isn't? That was my honest. When I first read it, I was like, why isn't that there? And then I think it was within days, really. After that,
And
it wasn't long there.
If you look back at the trip to that ridiculous trip to Australia that the club had, Amanda Staveley came out and
that's what cost our job.
she kind of threw them under a bus a little bit, because she said higher management have made this decision, as if she was like wiping her hands of everything and nothing to do with me. So there was kind of a bit of an undertone there as to something wasn't right. So maybe she's known that it's been leading up to this point, that we're going to put people in these positions like you've been doing behind the scenes. And once that happens, you don't have a role really to be involved in the football club.
Made us redundant by
appointment,
which is
maybe in the long run.
But if you think back when she was involved in the Man City takeover, you know, she did a very similar thing in brokering the deal and all of that kind of thing. She just took a much more behind the cameras sort of.
Well, I think the Man City
thing's a bit different. She was a part owner of the club, wasn't she? So, like I say, when you look at the documentary, there's the footage of her in the back of the car, I think, talking about the Anthony Gordon things, and that's just basically strategizing a transfer, you know, and stuff like that. Just the Man City thing, as I understand it, she brokered the deal, got a percentage, or got a fee, and then she was gone when the kind of day-to-day started. Whereas at Newcastle, I mean, I remember the first transfer window, I think they had a fella from Reading in before they got Ashworth. I think it was a director of football from Reading, who'd been at Reading previously. But there was like basically Howe was effectively a director of football. Amanda and Merdad were kind of like chair people basically, and they were doing the graphic. They talk like Merdad pulling all nighters and stuff like that. And
well, how was her guy, right? Like she interviewed him.
Yeah.
And I think that my only honest, I'll say it again. Me worry is that you think of the amount of day-to-day activity she had involved in the club, from women's to everything, right? To lose that, like people have really got to step up, like, because that there's a huge part gone there, like, you know, and people about, you know, Dan Ashworth and go, well, what did he, you know, blah blah blah, what did he do, and etc. But losing Amanda feels 50 times worse.
It's because she was like kind of like the voice and the face of the club. Do you think?
Well, she was so vocal. Wasn't she? She was in front of her all the time. She was constantly she was engaging with the fans.
A lot of fans will be looking at her as, and I mentioned this in the WhatsApp group, a bit of a linchpin to the connection between currently fans and ownership in the football club, because she was the go-to one. She was the one that you could interact with on social media and like say Instagram or text if you Daryl. He'd be gutted.
He'd be devastated. Like,
but like, do you feel as if, are you worried, Decker, that we might lose that now, or do you think like the Darren Eales might step up to be that person? That's
what I mean by people stepping up, because you'll need Mitchell or Darren Eales to become Amanda, right? I mean, in a weird way, like, but because if you don't have that communication, people will complain and think something's gone, like something's not the same, you know.
So, devil's advocate,
I knew you'd do this.
Is that normal behaviour for an owner of a football club, and having chairman of a football club? If you think of every other Premier League team,
it's probably not.
The closest I can think is when Dr. Tony Gier bought Villa in the Championship, but that was he was very vocal on Twitter as it was at the time, but he was also like a lunatic.
Yeah.
Whereas Amanda's, I think she has occasionally worn her heart on her sleeve a bit more than you would expect. Merdad's done it as well, you know. I'm not implying that because Merdad's done it as well, where he's put some stuff out there. And I thought,
all three of them have. Jamie Rubin as well.
I've always said if anyone's on Twitter, you're in trouble, because you're probably.
I remember
you said
early on when there's so much interaction coming from the likes of the social media accounts, you said that it's only a matter of time before this blows up in the face.
And the question of the atmosphere and stuff, which of course people didn't like, and I get that. I absolutely take your point. I understand that maybe they shouldn't. What I'm saying though is that now that we've been fed that, people will have loved it, right? They've enjoyed it. It hasn't been bad necessarily.
And I agree, having that relationship not be there after you've been used to it for the last few years is going to be very, very strange. It'll be interesting to me as if that position gets filled. Honestly, thinking I didn't originally think, oh well, Darren Eales will probably just step into it. I think in the general running day-to-day stuff, he probably will look after that kind of stuff. And then obviously we know Peter Silverstone's there, and then obviously the new the other two new ones that have came in the last 2 weeks. But I could honestly see this as now being a case of where that social media front probably takes a step back and goes more into a position where the majority of every other football club that's out there, you don't have your owner, your chairman, whoever it might be, being
It's normally just
as vocal and out
club
there.
statement, isn't it?
Yeah, because you
Tends
would
to
never,
be.
like, before Radcliffe went to Man United, you'd never hear a peep out of them.
Well, that's
But
why I hated
obviously
them, though.
he's doing
That's
all of the interviews, being in the front of cameras and all of that kind of thing. You'd never see the Glazers sat down doing an interview.
and that's why everyone thought
Very
they were
rarely,
wankers.
yeah.
Yeah,
That's
But-
why the
but-
Man United fans hate
But then when you look at every other, when do you see the Arsenal board sitting in front
they
of
hated him
cameras
and all.
giving it and stuff? It's that is
Cronky.
your normal kind of
Yeah, you don't get the
behaviour
Man
and
City.
approach from a
might
board.
Darren Neal's shared a photo of himself with Noel Gallagher at the game last night, didn't he?
Yeah.
So
I think Eales will be the guy because he was like that at Atlanta.
I don't
He
think
was the guy. He'll not be on Twitter, going as wild as what Amanda that was. But I
Yeah.
think if there's ever a statement that'll come out,
His name's at the bottom.
he'll be the one.
I think he'll be more the public face of it, but I
Yeah.
don't think it'll be to the same degree as what we've seen with
no, I agree.
Amanda and Murdad. Like I think that's gone now. I think that's kind of part of the thing you said.
And it's
about
a real shame.
Arsenal. It is a shame. I mean, I was kind of took it a little bit with a pinch of salt anyway because it is still that £1 billion football club or whatever. Probably worth about that now at least.
But it's like you
Where-
said, it softens that.
Oh yeah.
And what
somebody's-
we know it's in the background
it's
by
public
having,
relations,
having a
isn't it?
real human there.
It's PR, isn't it? Where it's when without that, it's just a machine. It's a kind of it's a business.
It's organisation, isn't it?
It's a business that have got a football kind of arm to it, and that's kind of what most football clubs are these days.
Yeah.
You know, so
So have it because I have. So any is worried that if things go a little bit iffy, that Howe could be in trouble quicker than he would be if
Yeah,
Mana wasn't.
absolutely,
there,
I do
was
think
there.
that. Yeah,
That's me worrying now.
I mentioned this last time around when the wheels weren't coming off. Of course they weren't, but you had it, like I said earlier on, you had a bit of a rough patch, and I said that I would not be shocked if the Saudis stepped in at this point and say, right, now is the time to make that change. And I said that on record. I didn't want Eddie Howe to go, but I could understand the reasoning behind it to a certain extent. But like I said, I think that now once again that shield is gone. If he does not have a good start, especially with the fixtures that we've got at the start of the season, it's a half decent start of the season that we've got. If he doesn't put points on the board, and I mean a hell of a lot of points, to still be, well, I'm saying to be in that fight for European spot, it's very early on the
Again
season.
with him, and there's no excuse.
It's failure.
There's no excuse.
It's failure. If we don't get European this season, it's failure. And Eddie Howe will be out the door
you will be.
before we even get Christmas.
I hope not. I don't know about before. It depends. I mean, it would have to be quite catastrophic, I think, to be before Christmas. But that's not to say it depends.
God, be human like if
Oh,
rid of
Jim,
him.
I don't. I think
human.
even I don't think that, to my mind, last season used up a great deal of goodwill anyway, because I think the circumstances we mentioned last summer's transfer window where he's got like Harvey Barnes, he's got two fullbacks who really probably weren't what he wanted. Great for the future. I think Livermore and Hall both end up being good signings, but when you've got the Champions League campaign, beg pardon, not bad. In the way of things, when you can't always kind of mitigate for injuries, but I think we could have been a bit stronger. We could have strengthened elsewhere first as a priority. We said the same last summer, didn't we? So I think he's been the victim of that a little bit, which probably weren't his decisions first and foremost. The Tonali thing again, Eddie Howe wouldn't have had a clue about that until it was happening. So as I say, I think last season to me, Eddie Howe's still on the same kind of footing as he was after the Champions League qualification. I don't think, personally to me, I don't think it's damaged his reputation. Other people disagree with that, mind.
Oh yeah, they do.
Listen to other people talking and stuff like that, and they were quite damning about him last season, which I think is a little bit very unfair, to be honest with you. But I agree with Chris to a certain extent. I think if given the apparent generous start of the season that we've got, the fixtures wise, this is, he's got to get points on the board pretty quickly and get to a point. Maybe he's getting, if we get nice cup draws as well, that'll help him. So I mean, by Christmas you can be in the semis, I think, of the League Cup. I think the quarters are done by Christmas. So by the January transfer window, you could be looking at a semi-final straight away.
Finals in February, innit? So
Late February, late February, March. Aye. So I think he does that. The fixture computer might have done me a favour, you know, because I think if we had a bad start, like the last couple of seasons, we had some pretty tricky starts. I think.
And do you know what it is now?
I hate to say it because I disagree with the concept of getting rid of them.
No, I agree,
completely,
but I
but-
think now, like Scott's mentioned it as well, that the links that Mitchell's got to Pochettino
Yeah.
You know for fine well. If
That's
it's
just a lazy.
I know,
easy-
but that's what I'm saying. As soon as you get that rocky patch, if Pochettino doesn't have a club, you know his name is getting thrown in every single
Of course it will, 'cause
article
it's
with
lazy,
Newcastle's name.
easy link, isn't it?
Well, we'll come on to something later. There's going to be another easy link coming shortly. So
Yes,
there's
well,
going to be a
it's
double.
already started. It's already started.
So there's going to be. I mean, mother-in-law text is going. Can you believe it about Howe? And I'm like, oh, it's not. Just relax, relax. But anyway,
It's just like, Deck, are you worried that anything else might change?
I honestly think it's a massive loss. Like I do think it is, because I think, again, it's not just a case of her writing pretty little notes in the program. Like it clearly not, because we've seen the stuff she did behind the scenes, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that void needs filling. But having said that, I suppose Mitchell's in now. We've got this other guy. Pardon, I can't remember his name, but head of performance and all that. You've then got Darren Eales. So listen, you've got pieces to the puzzle. Like,
I think that's going to be a really key relationship for how to have is with this new performance director, because they're going to have to work so closely together. And he even said in his own interview that he can be the manager's best friend or worst nightmare, depending on how things go. And that
all the best.
like a bit of he described it as a married couple, didn't he? Of like having those difficult discussions and stuff like that. So I think to the
James
point,
Bunce.
Bunce, that was it.
It's not American at all.
To your point around him losing that almost protection in Amanda and Mehrdad, that relationship that he then potentially gets with him could almost replace some of that, because then he'll have a real big say in what's happening with the rest of the board there.
Also, as well, right? And this is, and I know people will probably go, "Oh, he's being stupid," but there was a real relationship with Amanda and the players as well. You only seen how many times hugging Bruno, and there was so much of that going on. They really loved her and Mehrdad as well. So I just feel that we've lost.
Look at Bruno's message when she made the announcement.
Yeah. It's.
There was a comment, and I apologize, I can't remember who it was from. It was one of the members. Said that she was the mother figure of the football club, and you're losing that, and that you've summed it up perfectly. The relationship that you had with the players, not just the fans, but the players as well, which we could all see. All see it.
100%. Yeah, there's a lovely moment on that documentary when I'm gonna have to watch that again. Actually, when she goes into the cafe area and she's like, "Oh, he has me favourite," and that, and giving him a hug. It's just lush, man, isn't it? Like, and I think that's what fans sort of,
the cup final as well, where. When she goes up to Carrius and stuff like that, and goes and almost consoles him, and she just did have a real human touch and connection with everybody there.
She was a good man manager.
Well, get her as a semi-assistant or something like that.
And that's why I
She'll be a
think
keeper.
that's why.
She could do what Terry Mack did for years. And just
Do you reckon if Amanda was keeper, do you think Gillespie would still be the last place?
She goes in above him, like,
I'm not sure.
But I think that there's something definitely forcing this situation to happen, because I don't think should want to step away. She'd want it to have, even if it wasn't staying in an executive type role, she'd still want to be in and around the club in some capacity. The fact that just happened to kind of sever all ties, that's the bit for me of like,
that's what I think.
She's just having to sell the shares because she needs to get rid of them to pay off, the money that she owes, or because if it was where she is kind of agreeing to go, then would she not, maybe keep 1% or even keep a non-executive type of role at the club so she could stay involved?
If Piff thought she was doing such an amazing job that, I think we all think, whatever this payment that's required for bloody compensation, or whatever the problem is, they would just sort it out, man. Just think, crack on. Literally,
I know, but
literally,
she hasn't been doing this job for nothing.
No, I know, but like, I
think would have got a hell of a lot of money for her shares.
Of course, you would have. I'm not saying, but to be completely like, see you later.
Yeah,
I feel as if it's more than just I reluctantly need the money, so I've got to go. I feel like there's something else that we may never find out.
I don't think we ever will.
I just find it mad that it's like, see you later.
Sure. I think we might find out. It might take a little while, but I think we'll, because we know she has had a bit of a loose tongue in certain situations. She got herself in trouble with a Steve Bruce situation, saying that he didn't want to come into work, which quickly got an apology because it shows face and being sued.
I
So
still
back
believe,
in
I
court
still,
with that as well.
I still believe her.
No,
I actually don't.
I believe her.
100% true.
Yeah.
But
I
it
think
is
so.
things like that though, like that, and then you've got we're going to win the Premier League, we're going to win the Champions League, and there's so much stuff.
Maybe
It's
PIF have looked at and went, it's just
a bit of a PR disaster.
Yeah,
Like, yeah.
a little bit. And
know.
do you know what it is? Like with Amanda Staveley, it was either one or the other. She either came across really, really good in interviews, or she just fumbled and she just said whatever she was thinking
She was
at the time.
she was very hot on her sleeve, and I admire that.
Yeah,
I like
sure.
that in
Yeah,
someone.
she
And
was,
if, you know, if you're gonna, she went on TalkSport, and Simon Jordan was throwing jabs,
Yeah,
like, you
she
know,
gave it as good as
she
got,
tried
like.
her best in that, you know. And listen, I think we can debate, you know, all day why, but like the appreciation that we have for her is like unbelievable. Like, it's like
should, never be,
we just never would be in
never
this
forget.
position, would
Yeah,
we? Like, you know what I
100%.
mean? It's unbelievable what one person can.
and that's why I am sad that she couldn't hang around in some sort
I
of
know.
capacity, or even at least to remain as, you know, being welcome as part of, like, as a fan kind of thing, and being able to continue to be there.
Maybe there'll be some kick-off when she's in the away end or something like that. How are you getting a ticket?
To be fair, Bessie, there's been a couple of people mention this, saying it is a bit suspicious how she doesn't have some sort of continuation at the football club, and Connell says that even involved in the women's football to some certain extent, continuing with that role.
Yeah,
like like Mark said, cutting all ties is a strange one.
it is unusual because, you know, it's been such a successful 2.5, 2 3/4 years for the men's and women's teams since she got involved. So it would have been even if it was just a gesture to say, yeah, you can keep on. Maybe he's directing the women's team. I don't know exactly how because the women's team falls under the men's team's ownership and all that. I don't know exactly how
Well, it will be the same structure, won't it?
Yeah.
You could
Well, that's what I'm saying, she could
create
be
a
like
job
a-
or a seat
A
for her.
non-executive director,
I
just
think,
giving
I
her
think
a
so.
token position.
Bobby
where
Moncur used to be on the board, man.
Mm.
Do you know what I mean? Like doing
she
something.
doesn't need,
So
they don't need
you know
a
what I mean?
PR or
Yeah,
anything like that. You
yeah.
can just keep a
There
associate
has
it.
been a couple of shouts as well saying that we'll completely miss that this could be something which may be health related. We don't know. That could still fall under the reluctantly leaving the football
Could
club.
be, yeah.
Could fall
Well,
under
then
there.
why would Merdad go as well?
He never really. What
But
was he
Murdoch
anyway?
wasn't
He's
an
just
owner.
married to the owner. That's all that he
It was Amanda was the shareholder. He
Yeah, but
didn't
it was
have his-
PCP Capital Partners, which was him and her.
that was her.
No, it was her. I think it was
her,
her.
He's just the
He's along for the ride.
Yeah,
Oh, he's the Mark Gillespie of the owners football sort of world. Like he's just there, and somehow he continues to be there.
Gillespie's now the new like thing, isn't he? All season he's going to be that thing, isn't he? That we're going to use as a
Made that
reference
different.
point, as a marker.
Maybe they've just played with for the entire time, and they had no intention of staying. It's just been an act. They actually couldn't care less about it, and they've just
Should
buggered
probably
off.
buy someone else next week and be on this. I've always wanted to buy this.
Excellent.
But, like, to be fair, like we all knew the plan always was is that she was there to broker the deal, come in, oversee it, babysit the club for a little while, and then step away. I think what's happened is she's fell in love with the club. We fell in love with her. They've gone on this wild journey, like of chasing the dream that kind of became a bit of a, you know, an option for them to have because of the situation we all found ourselves in. And then, you know, ultimately it's came to a point of, right, you know, this is the time where we said it would happen. It now needs to happen. It doesn't make it any easier whatsoever to think that it would have happened at some point. I don't think there would have ever have been a good time for it to happen, because if it was where it had have waited a little bit and things went wrong, then you don't want to leave him with it on a bad situation. Maybe as if we had have gone on and, you know, won a league or something like that, she's then achieved what she set out to do, and then she could go there, and then it is a happy romantic story at the end of it. But
I guess I would
just
imagine
feel sad.
the press will be knocking down our doors. You know, they'd have a story. I would think Athletic and people like that will be going, do you want to come forward for an interview? Now, at the minute she might be like, no, I'm not in a position. But
100 be a non-disclosure.
I think,
I guess that will be the case as well. Like,
Yeah.
But I'm interested to know what happens next. Because obviously it's a different management structure at the club now. It's a different ownership model slightly at the club now. We kind of alluded to it earlier that maybe I had a little bit that maybe PIF saw her stake in the club as being something that kind of curtailed their ambitions a little bit. Are they now going to start like looking to put more money into stuff like training grounds and stadiums and getting black and white seats in the stadium. It's a big one, obviously.
But why would
Signing
her
Mikel
being there
Antonio.
stop that from happening though?
Well,
It's
because
not like she's going to sit there and say, no, you can't do it.
no, but like you said earlier, if they're saying, I use £100 million as a figure because it's a nice round number. If they're saying, right, we'll put £100 million into this, or collectively we're going to put 100 million, they're going to put 80 million in. The Rubens are going to put whatever 10 million in, and she's looking down the back of the sofa for £5 million because getting sued by somebody. That's something that slows progress down, isn't it? So
Yeah, but that's what I don't honestly.
if that's how I don't know if that's how it works, but I
that
guess
it would work that way because it's ultimately PIF are the majority stakeholders, and they can do what they want with putting money into the club.
they can. But
doesn't
if
have to be.
if you own,
On a fairness point of view, then yes, that's what you would do. Have all three.
yeah, but it should be taken 10%. I'll keep it with the 80-10-10 because it's just easier to work out than 86.5 and whatever. So if 80-10-10, if they're drawing £100 million out, she'd be getting £10 million worth of it.
Yeah.
So if they're putting that money in, she would be expected to sum up whatever it is. And the Rubens have always had more capital in there as well. You know, they're just richer than Amanda
But
Staveley
when
anyway.
you look at all of the money that's gone into the club,
Mhm.
it all came from PIF.
Has it? How do you know?
Because it's there in the books. Yes, she's had to then dilute her ownership and stuff like that.
Is it in the books that does it stipulate that?
I don't think it would stipulate where that money's coming
It
from.
doesn't?
To be fair, like,
Yeah, it
does
has.
it?
Yeah.
I'll be shocked.
And that'll where
But
it's
once
been
again,
that's where it's driving down the amount of money the amount of shares that she has, because she's having to sell. But again, they were clever with it because they were
Bought their shares off her, didn't they?
which is
that's
her
probably been
ownership. But that's by putting that
on the
money
back of that, maybe she couldn't keep up at that point
Mm.
where she can't invest the money where basically it's a bit of a push saying, well, we're investing this, you should be investing this. Just I kind of do it and say, right, to get out of this, we'll buy.
trying to give what Ashley £10 million, which was the loan for her to buy the club originally.
Something along those.
So again, she sold some shares back to PIF to increase their ownership, give her some money so that she could do that. So it's.
I think it's a
Robin
financial
had to pay
decision.
Paul, but
That's what I think.
ultimately
It is.
Well, we'll see how the cookie crumbles, I guess. Like, hopefully, but I think the bestie's point, and it's something only time will tell, is it's a change, isn't it? It's a structure. It's just a change at the top, like, which change isn't always good. Like,
Something that can be good.
Sometimes it can be, yeah. But I'm still quite sad about
I
it.
think the positive bit out of it is we've got real football people sitting there now in those roles that know that.
Not Lee Charney doing it all.
Exactly, and particularly,
Do you know he was actually doing a really good job?
Well,
Considering that
he
we
made really good
he made
five
really
jobs.
good
Looks
tea.
amazing, doesn't it? That-
really good cups of tea. Seems it got him the bloody chairman's job for a while. Didn't
Bestie's
it?
got a point though, right? Do you know what it is? At the time when I'm like, Ashley, we're all sat here and we're slated Lee Charney, right? Looking back, he had quite a lot.
I'm absolutely sure that I said that at the time when we were back in the Ashley pub. I used to say, listen, I don't like the guy, but he's got 100 jobs to do. What do you expect? What do you expect him to do in a couple of? Did you
have any? Did have any shares?
He had no money at all to do it. Like any contract,
Lowest
they used
paid,
to always
wasn't he?
kick
Lowest
off
paid in
and
the
go,
Premier League.
but he hasn't getting him over there. He hasn't been able to sign him. Of course, he hasn't. He's given. Ashley's when you go to Sports Direct, more going to Snickers.
He's got a washing machine full of shirts.
Try and get him to sign. Of course, he's not going to be able to do that. And you want him. And now we've got performance developers. We've got the Mitchell brothers. We've got the world in, man. And then we wanted our little rat face Charlie to do all of them jobs. Howe, think about it, man.
Lambias as well. A poor
Think
little
about
bugger at the time.
And,
Casino owner, wasn't he? He was a casino guy, wasn't he? That's how he was.
There's a great shout as well. Obviously, the rumors of a stadium expansion as well. Like, where does that leave Amanda Staveley with that, with like investment? Because that's a hell of a big investment.
Name a stand after her.
Well, not now.
She's still alive.
Mark's not a fan of that one.
I don't know. It's just like you said, it is changed. The grass isn't always greener, but it's kind of exciting as well, though. At the same time, because
I'm just nervous for me at the minute.
Yeah,
if I'm being honest. But it means though that the money people have got more hold, and that's always a good thing. More money, the better, right? So,
well,
I'm just always worried. I'll keep coming back to it.
Is it though?
I'm just worried
the face
that
of it is, but that is,
they're just gonna come crashing down like, well, that's no good. We want this, we want that. Bang, this.
Well,
you know?
what if she was the one that was kind of wanting to chase the investment and chasing PIF to put money in and to take the club forward, and now that part's been removed and they now just want to run it purely as a business?
Well, worse, exactly. Yeah, exactly.
So
No,
it's
exactly.
not
We'll wait and see.
You just
all
have to-
speculation
you
as
don't-
well.
You don't know which.
I was going to say,
Hopefully, it's the latter. It'll go well.
and we've all kind of alluded to the fact that the club will feel a little bit colder without her kind of, without
100%.
and my dad as well. Because
100%.
But then after the game last night, I watched Spain get a trophy and all that, and I went on YouTube because I'd seen that there was a video that them come back to training, and I watched it, and it was 10 minutes. It's mint, and I didn't think of Manda and my dad once when I was watching it. And I was sitting watching Amy, and she goes, you can see all the lads training, and Joe Linton's just wandering around the place, like smiling
How
and
happy was he to
doing
be
that.
back? It was
Just a-
lovely, wasn't it?
just absolute vibe merchant.
Yeah.
I'm thinking like, that's it's that back, and now, and I was saying like, I'm worried about how the club will how the PR will be. I sat watching a 10-minute video last night and had a lovely time watching it, and I wasn't like, oh no, I'm a bit sad about that.
Oh, listen,
I think we'll get over it.
I agree. We'll have a couple of wins. Everything will be fine, and then we'll forget. No, we'll not forget who she
I'll
is, that's
never
all.
forget your
But what I mean though is that I get the point you make.
It doesn't take much to kind of move on, does it?
Well,
Football.
no matter
What
what
fickle, like,
happens as well going forward, that Amanda Staveley's name is in the history books now. Like how influential she has been at this football club in 3 years. What she did to get this football club. Like, get her a statue, Mark. Get her a statue.
She'll have a statue.
She'll not have a statue, man. I
Think
think
she'll at least have a plaque.
What's you one thing, right? Just taking it off slightly. So just to wrap it up with the likes of Amanda and Maydad, what's the one thing that you're thankful of, Mark, that she's done since arriving?
Oh God, how can you
Can
narrow
we-
that down?
I'm assuming we're calling this buying the club.
By the club,
No,
yeah.
after,
Because that's a little
after
bit
the
of a-
purpose of the football club.
I'll go because he's thinking. I would say that connection between fans and ownership, because it was so cold and so
You could say
horrific.
she was breaking down barriers.
You could do, Mark, but I'm not going to. But you think of what we dealt with Ashley for so long, where it was, I'm not going to have any relationship or even talk to you at all, basically. Compared to then what Amanda did, being able to really create that sort of relationship between them, I think was unbelievable, actually. And also, to be fair, she's never run a football club. You know what I mean? It wasn't her job. You know what I mean? In her description, but she managed to do that as well. So yeah, like unbelievable person.
The one thing that can't be taken away, and I'll be grateful for forever, is she gave us hope. She brought back hope for the clubs, our ability to dream about what is now possible for this club. Because if it hadn't been for her, we all know we were done for, absolutely done for.
Yeah, we were.
And we've now got the hope of the club can go on to do something, thrive for a better future. So
I just, you know what it is? Taking away about football, I just loved how she was an ambassador for the city as well. She absolutely loved, and still does love Newcastle United.
Is that right? Is that her? Is it?
So absolutely loves the city.
Again, the money didn't come out of her pocket, but
6% of it didn't come out of her pocket.
She brokered.
So it's her fault that's down to one lane. Is that what you're trying to tell me?
To channel some
Don't know.
additional money.
I just love like every opportunity that she gets. She's like I said, she's a massive admirer of Newcastle and the people of it as well. And she's absolutely buzzes off the place. And as Dasmo knows, she's on the train left, right, and centre, going up and down the country. She just loves it up here.
Yeah.
And that's what I was saying, like around. I just fallen in love with the whole thing. I've fallen in love with the club, the city, the people, because she took us to her heart. We took her to our hearts, and that's why we'll never forget what she's done and what she's allowed us to potentially go forward and be.
Good. Anything I'd best on that?
Anthony Gordon.
Yeah.
The graph should put in to get Anthony Gordon in. I love him. I love Anthony Gordon. So yeah, I don't think that would have happened without the graph that her and my dad did.
Playing hardball as well.
Yeah, they did.
That phone call as well on the
Let's make them sweat
documentary.
on it.
That phone call is mint, but like on the
It
documentary.
was, yeah.
Some FaceTime with him.
No, I think that. I mean, and kind of beyond that, when you say, I seem to recall in the documentary, 'cause I've only watched it the once, like how she just was around with the players, and when they're doing the lap of honor, she's kind of like at the end of this 3 seasons that were finished with her and my dad at the helm, and you could see the relationship because the players reciprocated. It wasn't just her kind of giving them headlocks and that, like, and doing all. No, they were actually like the lighter, and I think that goes a long way. The unity. the unity we're united again.
And
that's
even
not-
the wives and girlfriends and kids and stuff like that.
Not all of
Again,
them.
when you see them on the pitch, and
Not
stuff
all of
like
them,
that, see them all cuddling and talking to them all and stuff. Like that. She just really loved.
Yeah, I think
everything
it just
about it,
seems
didn't
to be I don't think you can look back at the 3 years that's just been at the club and kind of say it was anything but successful.
Yeah, I agree.
You know, right across the board.
Let's move on to something which wasn't so successful.
Mhm.
England versus Spain last night. We'll touch on Anthony Gordon's involvement in the tournament as well.
Lack
Lack of
That's it. You've
it.
touched on it there.
Yeah, lack of his highlight reel being fallen off the bike.
And looking miserable in the background of extra time.
Going into the game, Decker, on Sunday night there, were you hopeful to a certain extent? With it being a final, obviously Spain were unbelievable. We knew that right the way through the tournament. Was it 7? In the end, 7 out of 7 games they won.
Yeah,
They won every single one, didn't they?
beat like every team going as
Yeah.
well. It was a really good run.
Incredible.
They deserved it.
Yeah, of course they deserved it. But going in the game, I was thinking, well, it's a final. Anything can happen in a final. Similar as what it was when it was Newcastle v Man United. But I was probably a hell of a lot more hopeful for that one, that Newcastle would win. When it gets to 1-1 yesterday, Degger, what's your thoughts at that point?
Well, that's the I think that's for me the problem that I had with the game. I think was when it got to 1-1. Now, I've watched it back a few times, and you know, when we concede the goal, the problem we've got is we've got everyone up the other end of the field and we'll get caught, right? So everyone's banging the drum about, you've got to go, man, you've got to attack. We got caught because of that. But when we went 1-1, we didn't sit back those almost straight away, and I found that really strange.
It was about 5 minutes.
He made some great subs. You know, them subs were good, you know. And there was a few when I was shouting them all. I tell you, I was watching it with the family, and I was like, "Look, we had obviously Palmer, Foden, Saka, Watkins
came on, yeah.
and I thought this is, you know, we're back in the game at 1-1 now. I actually think we can go and take it to them and maybe win." So it was only that period of time where I had a problem with it. I knew we were going to have to surrender possession. There's loads of people that have been talking, didn't even give it a go. They couldn't even keep hold of the ball. I'm telling you now, it's like us playing Man City, right? Like, you're going to have to sacrifice. You're not going to have the ball, but there's different ways you can win a game of football than having to be attractive and good on the eye and blah, blah, blah. For all the first half, right, them had all the ball. They didn't do a single thing. He didn't have a shot, man. Now, the second half, we can talk about that all night if you want, because we didn't come out the second half in that first minute or so. The players were still in the dressing room and conceded, etc., etc. But to answer the first part of your question, I wasn't particularly hopeful. I was loving the atmosphere and I was loving that we were there, but I just thought Spain are that damn good. Like, they're such a good side, man. Like, they really are. And I don't know. Maybe I haven't got the belief in the players that we have, but you know, you think as Shearer's constantly banging the drum about how good the squad is, and we're amazing, and with this, I don't think maybe Foden aside, technically as good as some of their players, man. Like a Williams and Yamar and that, you know what I mean? Like, unbelievable, man. Like, and he's only paying him, like, but that Fabian Ruiz in midfield, Rodri, there's such a good team, man. Like, there's such a good team. Now you can pull it apart for Southgate that he does X, Y, Z wrong, which we can get on to, but. And I find that hard, though. I really do. I find it hard. I was having an argument today, but I'm sorry, I'm not going to sit here and criticize someone that's got 2 finals in a a row. Like, I'm just not going to do it. I'll pull apart moments in substitutions
to turn it on its head, right? To turn it on its head, and I think Gary Lineker came out on the podcast they did for the rest is football, and said that I think Southgate's got to that point now when everybody's thankful what he's done with England, it's changed the whole setup behind the scenes with England. But he's saying that with the attacking and talent players that he's got in front of him, he just didn't use them to their abilities, what they do for club football. Hence, obviously, Foden just coming in and playing whatever position at the start. Then there's a great point, and like you said, when it goes to 1-1, when we get that back, before we concede what leads to be Spain's winner, there's 2 substitutions ready to come on the field. Gallagher and Trippier.
Yep.
That's backs against the wall.
I
that's
get
going
the
to at that
Trippier
point.
one to some extent because
Sure.
Luke Shaw has played bloody half an hour's football in a year. So I was amazed he lasted as long as he did. But
he did well as well. He did well.
He did. I think he was probably our best player in the game.
Maybe
I thought Stones played really well. Very brave Stones.
I think from start to finish of this tournament, there's absolutely no chance in hell we should have been anywhere near that final. We absolutely fluked our way to get into that position.
We'll scrape by some.
Yes, you can thank him for getting you there. I look at it more as it's in spite of him than because of him.
I wouldn't say it's in spite of him. I don't think it is, but I think I agree that we're very lucky to get there. But once you're there, that's all that matters to me. But then it's I think it was, do you know what frustrated me? That the good moments that we saw in this tournament were basically the substitutes that came on and changed games.
Yeah, 100%.
The following game after that, nothing changed.
I think she said this a lot of times actually when I was listening to Danny. He was bang on that. We're a moments team in that there was moments of brilliance got us through games. You could say Palmer's goal, Bellingham's overhead kick, Saka's goal, just moments of brilliance. But as a team performance, other than the first half against Holland, that have been pretty poor, right? But the thing I will say, and someone might disagree here, but I can't recall the clamour being as much as the last Euros for bad football, because we were bashing teams when we beat Germany and that. I can't recall many people saying the final was a different story, but I don't think we've played that poorly collectively over the years he's been there. I would suggest, though, that this particular tournament has been poor on the eye. Like, I'm not going to deny that for a second.
I think at times the Scotland game in 2021, the draw was it was kind of a bit of a precursor. That was limited, and I'm very much a Southgate. So I like Southgate.
Yeah.
Whether or not he should continue as England manager, I don't know. But I do like him. When you look at 4 tournaments that he's been manager for, we've been in 2 finals and a semi. We've been in 2 semis ever before that.
That's why it's tough for us to give him shit. It's really tough for us to do that.
And people say about the players we've had, but the players we've had, I mean, look at the team like 2006, 2002, and 2004. We relied that heavily on Rooney. As soon as he got injured, we got knocked out by Portugal. And it was a good Portugal side, but not a brilliant Portugal side.
We've said the same thing for ever since I've been an England fan, that we're not getting the players to play at the club side. I've heard that same comment, honestly, since forever. When we got beat off Iceland, Harry Kane's taking corners and that, everyone's kicking off. And he picked up an absolute shit show, like a horrendous scenario. And and let's be fair, when he got the job, everyone was like, Christ, nobody wanted it. Mm-hmm. Hence why he got it.
Well, because it was after Allardyce pint of wine.
That's right, yeah. He picked it up at such a bad time.
Allardyce leaving Sunderland's the best thing that happened in football for a generation.
Yeah, without doubt. That whole
amazing. England have been our Sunderland have been.
Where I want to criticise him, though, because again, I've done this with Howe, right? That I love Eddie Howe, and we used to have to put the banner up and that would deal with him sacked. But you criticise in moments of substitutions and stuff. I have absolutely no problem at all with him sitting in last night trying to be hard to beat, because you're going to have to surrender position. Why the hell Gordon isn't on that field at some point? Because surely, if you're going to defend like you are, you've got to get them on the break, right? Surely that's the idea. Thinking Bellingham, who by the way was honking for that tournament as well. Bellingham left wing most of the time. You needed Gordon, Watkins up top, Saka, to when you get the ball to be able to break. That's where I'll get on his back.
I think one of the problems he had
totally wrong. Like,
one of the reasons Kane, I don't think Kane was fit.
No.
To the whole thing with Kane works better with wingers, and that's where you want Gordon and Saka. You want 2 lads who can get the ball and not up. But Bellingham was a weird one, because I thought the same. I thought he was dreadful last night, but then we look back at it, everything that we do comes to him. He puts that chance wide, he puts the ball in for Cole Palmer, he does really well to get the ball. Everything we did, Bellingham had a hand in, but he was very wasteful. I think the whole tournament, I don't think he's as good as he thinks he is.
I think he's
extremely good.
But he's had a moment. He has had moments. He scored the header, he scored the overhead kick, of course, which is amazing. But frustrating as hell in the 90 minutes of play. Giving the ball away cheaply, getting caught in possession. Just really poor, I thought.
It's ironic that for all the talk pre-tournament of really good going forward, but defence is a bit shaky. But defence was brilliant for the most part.
It's just been very good.
And Kyle Walker switched off.
Have been absolutely unbelievable.
Gay was player of the tournament, our player of the tournament for me.
And you think Stones hasn't played much football either?
No, he's been
so he's done really well to get through them games.
I was a bit disappointed in Rice throughout the tournament. I thought some of the times he misplaced passes was ridiculous in dangerous areas as well.
I still
that's
think
because he didn't have Calvin Phillips alongside of him. Right?
He is not a 6. I keep saying that he's not a 6. He's not a 6, and we'll play him in that position, and he has frailties in that position. He's an 8. He's a number 8, and he can get up and down the field. But it was disappointing at 1-1
for an 8. He never passes the ball forward, though, does he?
No, but he drives forward. When he drives forward, and I understand it's not always easy. The problem you've got as well, and I keep saying it, when Kane comes as deep as he does, you just congestion the play so much. And can you imagine being a player, looking up and he ain't really got much there. Foden's coming in from the left. Bellingham's then coming in from the left. Kane's coming towards you. Everyone's just coming towards you. Yeah. Who can you possibly? And that's why you need Watkins in, or you need Gordon in to stretch the play. Surely, and if you're playing counter-attacking style football against Spain, you need the fast players to be on.
We sat here early on the tournament. I think it was it the second game? Gordon got a bit of a run out. It was like 3-4 minutes or something
The third
like
game
that.
was Slovenia.
Third game. We said we probably wouldn't see him again for the rest of the
He
tournament.
did well in that few minutes.
He
It's
did.
a great chance.
He did. And do you know what it is? Like Palmer, didn't really see much of him, and when he did get a chance to impress, same with Gordon, same with Watkins, and that's what annoyed me the most. You go into the next game and you still set up the same with the likes of Kane running deep and having no option up top. And
It was
that's
the
what was annoying
reluctance
me.
to make changes was really, really annoying. And I get that he believes he's picked the right players to get him out of that situation and that he trusts them, the team that he's picking. But when you're sitting there for that long and it's not working, you need to impact the game. And he was very loath to impact the
when
game.
you've got players like Gordon and Palmer and Watkins.
Well, every time
last
you brought
season,
Palmer on, he
Eze
made
as well.
a hell of a change.
Eze as well, but Eze when he
Eze
came on,
was
he did look
poor in
great.
that.
To be
He
fair.
was, but he's still an
Come on,
option.
but-
I think if you're looking to start a game with a winger, you'd do a lot worse than start with Eze.
I think that I thought.
Great.
See, some people have said he shouldn't have started Kane yesterday, but I just can't.
He was always going to start. Kane.
You can
You've got to start him.
European final. You've got
Yeah.
your captain, your top scorer.
Someone who's been there before.
You cannot not play him. Like I just don't get that one. But I did think he changed it quite early for Southgate. It was an hour. I was now on the dot, 61 minutes, I think, when he changed Kane. It was the previous games where I was literally pulling my telly off the wall. Like, so I'm like, I know it might be an old-fashioned saying, but some of these performances in the first half were absolutely terrible, right?
Yeah.
In the second, the team came out in the second half, and I thought, right, okay, maybe he's saying to them, "You've got 10 minutes. Get out there. You've got 10." We're talking was 80 minutes, and he still hadn't made a sub. I mean, how long are you giving?
It's been every
I know,
game.
yeah, and that's
every game.
and that's where I'll
But the
criticize.
subs have changed the games every time as well.
Every time, and that's where, like, could you not
Well,
give him?
certainly last
Do
three.
it earlier.
I know, but we got to the final by making them subs, so then he might turn around and go,
that's
well,
what
I
I'm
changed
saying,
it.
where
Watkins
we've
scored. I
had-
changed it.
we've
Palmer
had
scored. I changed it. And Tony scored.
Massive
You know what I mean?
slices of a look.
We didn't look.
Well,
to
you
that-
need luck, man.
to
But
that
you do,
age.
Italia 90, the group stage was identical to this one. We drew with the Netherlands, Ireland, and we beat Egypt 1-0. So goals scored, goals against, wins, losses, draws, identical this year. Second round, Belgium, David Platt overhead kick right at the end of the game, win it. Last kick of the game, pretty much. Look at Jude Bellingham. And it's lauded as being this wonderful tournament. Cameroon, Gary Lineker died for a penalty. We'll get knocked out until the very end.
Steady on.
He did.
He did die.
I think it was extra time, wasn't it? A 3-2 Cameroon.
But this is the
this
point
is-
you're making is what I absolutely adore Italia 90, and I love all of their players, and I love
I
Bobby.
do. But
How was I know what you're saying. Like
perception is totally
It is
different.
totally different.
and this was an England team with John Barnes, Peter
And that's
Beardsley,
you,
Gary
you,
Lineker.
Chris Waddle.
You
Yeah.
forgot
Chris
how
Waddle,
bad
Peter
they were in
Shilton.
the previous tournaments because all you remember
No,
is we're getting to the final,
I remember
getting to where
I could be wrong with the game, but I remember I went out and watched the Denmark game. It was like 4-0 or something. I was like, this is class, this man. Like we were just. I thought we were really putting teams to the sword. Not every week, every game, by the way, but
Yeah.
And but
Okay.
I just can't. I can criticize moments. I can, but I can't honestly sit here getting the 2 back-to-back finals and really go in on them. Like that's just I can't do it. I can't. Sorry.
It's mad. It's I don't. I think it's right. I think you're allowed to criticize him. And I think it's, as I say, I don't know whether or not I want him to continue or not. There's part of us I would love him to because I think he's a decent bloke. He has changed the structure of the squad, like not just the players, but like what the before the 2018 World Cup, so before his first tournament, there was a thing he did between the players and the media that has never been done before, and it was PR got the media on side straight away, and they got to the semis that year.
I think the criticism this year has hurt him, though. You know, but like each
I
of the
do.
interviews, he looked like he was. It was really hurt him.
I wonder if he thinks it's worth it. He's a family
It's
man
not
and all
worth
that.
it,
Like,
no.
and
What now?
it's
What
time
now?
for him to go.
But what now?
100% It's
What
time for him to go.
For Southgate, is he a good manager? Is he?
No.
Yes. We're saying that he's got the final.
I don't think he's a good tactician, but I think he's a good,
Is he
he's a
gonna
good
get
man
it?
manager.
Is
Good
he going to
man,
get a managerial run in a Premier League club?
He'll get
reckon?
one.
I think
just-
he would.
he'll
I
get
don't-
one based on.
No
I
chance.
I
on him
think
being at
no.
I don't think he's good enough to manage the Premier League, but I think he would
Well,
get
you
one.
look at his Premier, not just his Premier League history. Look at his football managing history.
Borough,
Before
wasn't he?
he's went to England.
Oh, he was shocking.
Was it
at
just
Borough.
Borough?
England he, with Borough. What do you have? I think 3 seasons there. Every season he finished in the
Yeah,
bottom
but
half of the
someone
table and got relegated.
someone could hold that argument with Eddie Howe. Like how many times did we used to defend him? He got relegated with Bournemouth. He consciously get that stone thrown at her, but would immediately have his back, right? Based on
But he also took the
based
team
on
up through.
no,
three leagues
I'm
to
aware
get
of
into
that.
the Premier League
I
and
am
kept them there
more
for-
than aware of that. But managers can grow as well, you know. Like I'm not saying he's going to be a good Premier League man. Don't know why I'm trying to defend this because I'm almost going to slap myself in the face. Like, but I think again, I just think like managers can grow and they can through experience become better, right? I know Bruce didn't want to, but other managers can. But I do think he could get a Premier League job. But the problem is, I don't think it would be as high profile as he would accept. So I think it might be I'm going to throw a terrible name out there, Forest or a Fulham. Say it won't be, but if it was, he's not going to get a.
Well, all the talk of him is Man United, isn't it?
Well, it's because of the links.
Yeah.
Might it be interesting if them get off to a bad start, like and obviously he Southgate won't stay on, like he won't stay.
So leading on from that, who goes in next? Obviously, there's rumours Eddie Howe's name. That would just won't disappear.
No, thank you.
It's Eddie Howe and Graham Potter are the two names that are
again,
being
it's
rumoured.
easy links, isn't it? It's English managers that are out of.
But you're saying easy links though.
Eddie Howe's firmly in the job.
If you see, I know you're saying easy links, but come on, if the FA have any brain cell, Eddie Howe should be the top of your list. He should be the very top.
Will you shut up?
No, I know, and I don't want that to happen.
Yes,
I don't think he should.
You don't think so?
I don't think he should. I think
I don't think you should.
No,
you're right. Yeah.
It's a totally different thing having a group of players for 7 days, once every 3 months, once every 2.5 months, to what it is having a group of players every day, 7 days a week.
Yeah, but how many national managers come in from the cold like that?
And how many do well? How many? You don't often see club management translate very well in national management.
That's what I mean. But who are you going to get then?
But then you see the opposite. Like if you think of somebody like, that's probably the best example, but Martinez, who hasn't had a brilliant club career, but he's done decent at.
I think he's done far worse than Southgate.
I was just about to say that.
This tournament,
mate, he's been shocking
with a comparable group of players. He's been so reliant on Ronaldo.
Belgium, he's been
shocking.
He's not Belgium, Portugal.
No, when he was,
you could argue that he wasted a golden generation with Belgium.
So
he did. 100% he did, yeah.
I think Martinez is a dreadful shout, Mark. I think you should hang your head in shame.
Well, that's what I'm saying. It was probably
you cannot give Southgate shit there.
The best
you want someone who, to me, in national management, you want someone who can organise the defence brilliantly and who can, like I said last week, Keegan, from the two things, organise the defence brilliantly, but get under their skin and really get them wanting to run through walls for you.
I know who.
Keegan's the latter part of that.
I've got a name.
Defensively, Keegan, certainly not. That's why it didn't work.
I've got the name. Jason Tyndall.
Did you say he was at the game last night?
That's not a bad shout.
He was at the game last night.
Setting the defence up.
Well, that's why.
Good man manager.
It was
get
put in the earlier. Someone said Sean Dyche. Someone said Peter Shilton said Sean Dyche. I thought, well, there's worse shouts than that. Like
what Peter Shilton said. What?
Peter Shilton said Sean Dyche.
Sean Dyche. I think there's worse shouts than that. Like, and it weekends Everton, so it works twice.
Gary O'Neill, his name's just been mentioned in the comments.
But you want, I say, what you want is someone who can organise, because it's defences win tournaments, right? That's why Southgate's playing the way he's playing, because he's watched how Deschamps won the World Cup with France, how Portugal won it in 2016. I forget who's manager there. Oh, was it Kudo? I forget who's manager there. But that's Southgate's seen that for, right, that's what I need to do. And it's right, defences win tournaments. How Italy did so well in all those tournaments in the 80s, 70s, 80s, 90s, sorry.
But
I think it takes a bit more.
Our nation's not a fan of defence, apparently. The one just attack, the one free flowing attacking.
Just look at Spain. They never defended this tournament.
You imagine if
they've got probably the worst.
They defended brilliantly yesterday.
They've probably got the worst left back in the entire tournament playing, and that was really.
Mate, he had an amazing.
Why didn't we?
He had an amazing.
Get that Cucurella and
the worst.
He's their worst player.
He was one of the players of the tournament.
He was fantastic.
Did you watch any of it?
He was voted. I think was he not voted player of the tournament?
He might well have been.
I think Roger was
watching for what he was doing going forward. And to your point, that's exactly what Spain were doing.
Yeah, going forward. Yeah.
Spain would attack. How many times yesterday when England won the attack, a couple of chances Kane had where they've just gone. I mean, Kane wasn't brilliant, I know, but they doubled up straight away. They got the ball from straight away. Laporte played really well. I think you can Spain defended played badly. They were exposed a little bit.
One off the line as well, wasn't it?
Because you got Yamal and Williams burst up the wings.
Yeah. Oh,
so Cucurella had acres of space.
Luke Shaw had he had a blinder against Yamal. I was thought like
Luke Shaw was excellent.
He did, yeah. I think you got to remember the lad's 17. Like it's a big stage, and I thought Shaw showed all his experience. He was very strong on him as well. Like
looked fit as
well.
He did
brilliant. He did really well.
Like he lost a bit of weight.
It's just such a shame that you just knew though. Like Shearer kept saying, I was listening to the BBC personally, and Shearer was saying like, "Oh, he's won every challenge," and I remember going, "Aye," at the minute, and then Shearer actually paused for him. Well, yet, meaning like. There's still time, and then obviously.
The thing is, in that kind of situation, the winger's only got to beat you once,
and that's what I mean. Yeah, that's what I mean.
I think most games.
We're going to go back to the Dan Burn thing, aren't we?
Yeah. You can have a fullback can have a brilliant game for 87 minutes, and the remainder, if the winger's got you on toast, you see, you can get 2 or 3 goals.
Their manager's in a really wonderful tactic. I thought he put Williams over there as well, so made Williams be the wider one. So Shaw had to mark him, which then made Lamar.
Yamal.
Sorry, apologise. I was going to say Yamal.
Yamal.
Shit, not my.
Like a bit deep. I could pick the ball up earlier. I just thought I'm not saying it worked in that moment, but I thought it was a wonderful idea. I thought it was great.
What I will say though, and I am a fan of Southgate. I'm an appreciator of Gareth Southgate.
Sounds like you want to marry him.
I don't think player for player over the whole squad, shall we say, Spain were better than England. I think they used their players better than we did, and a better system than we did. But I wouldn't say like Yamal and Williams are better than, let's say, Saka and Gordon, for instance.
I don't know. Like,
In the tournament, they were.
In the total, well, I don't think. I think you look at England's.
I thought
As much
Saka
as I
was
love Anthony Gordon's,
Williams.
Williams
He's something else, isn't he?
is.
I'm surprised he's a bit like Maxi him. I'm surprised you like him.
But he's good. He's
Aye.
actually got some product.
Well, you obviously know this. As soon as I see any winger like him, I just in love with him like immediately.
That might not have been a great example, but I still think 26-man squad.
Well, Neville and
they've got
Shearer were
the
banging that
possibility.
drum.
I think
Man for
England,
man, saying the same.
They're
I think
team-wise,
and I think
night and day above us.
Fabian Ruiz.
Individuals.
See, like, night and day,
What
they're
a
not night and day
player.
above us at all.
See, I thought when Rodri went off, I went, yeah, poor. Here's our chance.
Them got better.
Here's our
They got
chance.
better.
Yeah.
Scored straight away.
What's happened? What's going
They
on?
got better.
No, I think that is a feeling the Southgate side. He isn't getting the most out of the players he's got.
100%.
And
that's why
but we got a
he's
final.
not a good manager.
Well, I'm saying that as someone who
You're talking 90 minutes away from getting the best out of them.
I like Southgate, but I'm saying that I like him, but
It could have been better.
you can think someone's good, but still criticize him.
What I will say as well, I look at who Spain beat: Croatia's, your Germany's, your France's. If we had to be on the other side of that draw,
Long gone.
we would have been long gone. But hey,
Which is why
was it? Yeah, and he had tits on.
lucky to
Look
get
at the
to
draw we
final.
got.
I get all that, but
Everything was
We got the
on our side.
opposite run as what Newcastle
Whenever
got
we-
last season.
Whenever we've had a good run, we've been lucky to get there. 1996 was Spain again, 0-0 draw. Good goal to Stel for offside, win on penalties. Lucky to get there. We talk about moments winning games again. 96 Gascoigne's goal against Scotland. It's a 1-1 draw without that. And
and them is a pen.
And Venables, people look at Terry Venables. He managed one tournament, didn't have to qualify because we're hosts. What he played? Well, one game we got beat.
Well, Holland was
Two, Holland as well. You're giving the Dutch game as well, yeah. So
it was a great tournament that though. They were amazing.
Again, I think it's because we're kids. I
think that's what it is, isn't it?
1914,
That's what it is,
96,
mate. Like, whereas you'll be kids today, they'll be going, why is everyone
Kids,
kicking
you
on?
were 20.
You know what I mean?
You were 20 in 1996.
But I think I do think time's up. Like I do. I think he's done an amazing job and he's took them as far as he can. And I think that's the key point. Tactically and whatever it is, he's took them as far as he can. And for me, he goes with me blessings. Like
I hope it's his decision.
All the best. Like
I want nice things for Gareth.
I felt sorry for him though when he got interviewed and he was like, it did hurt because I'm a proud Englishman. I
Yeah.
enjoy doing the job. And it's
Everybody wants
awful.
to be loved.
I mean, he was clapping the fans, no holding things on him, man.
And that's why I
That's
think
unacceptable, man.
he'll go because
People
he's
are also
lost. Because he's lost the fans.
Yes.
Because he's lost
People
the
are
fans.
dicks.
It's just awful,
It's
man.
the same as when Dan Burn had a rough spell with those people who are down his throat and it's like, he's trying his best.
Hey, my mate Max, he was slagging him off every week. Him.
People are dicks. Right? Yeah,
Rightfully so.
you're
People are
correct.
dicks.
They should not be. I have to say that again.
No, they shouldn't be throwing things.
Come on,
That's-
I know they've paid a lot of money, right? And I get all that, right? But you shouldn't be hiring cups and shit at them, like
Totally.
that's
Absolutely not.
ridiculous.
Apparently
When you think of it,
You get your €3 back as well if you take that cup back to the bar.
That's right. Yeah.
Dafties.
Right.
Dafties.
I think that'll be a big deciding factor.
That happened when I went to Munich
showed
Stadium
he's-
actually last week.
yeah,
When I went to Coach.
he's lost the fans at that point, and he probably won some back by getting to the final.
Well, when he got to the final last time he got beat off Italy, I thought that's when he should have stepped down because I
I
thought we'd never
agree.
make another final.
Yeah.
That's truthfully what I thought. We'll never make another final, mate. So this is as good as it's probably going to get.
Well, we've
But
had
then he's getting with it again.
2 cycles as it was. So he's had 2 Euros, 2 World Cups. I think if he went now, I wouldn't be. I think I'd worry about who comes next.
I agree with
And
that.
I wouldn't say I'll laugh when we got knocked out in the
do
quarterfinals
you
World Cup
think-
or the second round, but
Well, when we start seeing this free-flowing attacking and we're 4-0 down, then I'll be laughing at people because people are obsessed with.
people forget other teams
Jesus,
got.
this is rich coming from him, isn't
No,
it?
no.
That's all he bloody moans. He
No,
moans about it all the time.
People forget that other teams have got good players.
I know.
I think that England should just be right. We're all FIFA 95.
We should just be at them.
Because is this the same kid that was, we should be beating this team, we should be beating that team. It's only such and such.
No, that's true. But we're playing Spain, man. And people are going, we're just go gung ho. No, I'm sorry. If you do that, Spain would be 10-0 up. The rip were apart when we're sitting back the second half. My God, it wasn't for Pickford. 1 or 2 saves he probably should have made anyway. But
he was excellent.
he was he was brilliant.
He
Yeah,
won
brilliant.
great.
One save off
Like that-
Yamal was
that
amazing.
Keeper, the keeper there is when he saved it, then it got cleared off the line.
Off the
That was
line.
unbelievable. Unbelievable.
The Pickford thing, I was on Football 365. I was reading it today, and it's an interesting one. How you get some players who Like Foden's never played as well for England as he does Man City. Pickford's never played as badly for England as he does for Everton. Pickford's a better England keeper than he is a club
He's
keeper.
mint. Absolutely
Unbelievable.
amazing.
I think he could have done better
Amazing.
with the Holland goal. The
I
Dutch
agree
goal
with that.
last week. I think it was well hit, but he should be getting a hand to that. I think. Like
Yeah.
yesterday,
If he had longer arms, he would have saved it.
yesterday he's command of the area and his punches were well judged. And
It
his
was
hands
mint.
were great. He's
I
made a
like
couple
him.
of really good
I
saves.
like him.
He's mint. That ball, by the way, by Cucurella was amazing, wasn't it?
Oh, the time
What a
because he's
ball that
right
was.
on the
you know.
verge of being offside as well.
I know,
Like, it's
he is,
perfect.
aye.
Like,
Well, I mean,
he was when
some lad at
when-
work
Dropped
did.
right on the first.
Some lad at work came to me and went, "Did you think he was offside yesterday?" I went, "Well, he was by the technology." He went, "Well, watch this." And he had like zoomed in on his phone and drew lines. He had about 10 pictures. I went,
That's what you did to me last week.
yeah.
You like show us your phone.
Of
And I
what?
went, no, you can see by the line on the pitch is completely
No,
different.
no. Saka was onside, but I took the point that it was Walker they were on about. I was going to say, I think as well, well, not as much as sometimes, but you know, when you have this thing like people would rather lose to have a go at the gaffer.
Yeah,
I feel yesterday now, some people were like, how did they win here?
I think there'll have been some draft tweets composed about.
Do you know what I
5 o'clock
mean?
this
Do
afternoon
you know what?
waiting
Do
for
you know what baffled me? And
Just
I
to have a
I
go
said
at
I was going to have
Southgate.
a bit of a rant about this, right? But I'll keep it to a minimum. The amount of people like you see in the pub, right, watching the England games or wherever you're watching them, you don't blame people for staying in the house because you go on a bar and it's absolutely rammed, and half of that bar, which is rammed,
No
are
way, you
facing opposite a TV. They're not even looking at the TV.
Yeah.
They're just having conversations with
Same as
me
New Year's
tits
Eve in
in.
town, innit?
New
Every
Year's
weekend's
Eve,
like one night a
Derby
week.
Day. It's
Yeah.
all exactly
New
the
Year's
same.
Eve's not just on one telly though.
If I'm honest, normally
fireworks in
that's
London.
why I don't like going out. 'Cause
Me before.
I tend to not be able to watch the game as much.
Yeah.
Because people are talking to you and you want to be rude and
Yeah.
stuff like that. Whereas when I'm in the house, I can just sit and observe what I want to watch.
Yeah.
I've come out for the match. I want to watch the match. I don't want to either get covered in beer or hear just people moaning.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
People don't know as much as me as well. I get annoyed about it.
Well, even the pundits don't know as much because there was a point where when they were going on about Harry Kane dropping back in, why is it not working for England? Because that's what he always used to do at Spurs. I'm like, because he had people running past him at
that's-
Spurs and people supporting him. 3 minutes later, well, of course, when he was at Spurs, he would have Song up alongside him. He'd have the white. I was like, hello, I've just said that 10 minutes ago.
But the point
Like,
you made,
everybody knows that. Why are you not like stating the bloody obvious here, asking us such a stupid question?
but you say that, but every person I know has been banging about why is Kane coming deep, and my answer is he does it. He's always
Yeah,
done
he
that.
always does it.
That's what Kane is. He's never.
But that's why you need a manager.
No, I'm not
that
disagreeing
they
with you.
get-
there. I'm not disagreeing with you.
Especially if you're playing with two bloody number 10s, you need to be telling your number 10s, your number 20s, when the
Well,
game
the
comes
20s,
down,
But the,
to get bloody past them.
but the
I
real
know.
tens are false tens.
False bloody.
So
full
what
11.
was your thoughts when Foden got interviewed and he said like, listen, like he's telling us that's what he's telling what to do to get up. Like he's telling what to push up, but sometimes we're just unable to do it. And this is sometimes what I say they'll blame Southgate, but I'm sorry, I'll keep going using the Spain game. I know it's only one game, but there is times where you can have all this plan of wanting to be aggressive and wanting to press, but when the team is as good as them, sometimes you kind of think now what else like. Now, I would agree. Play
Select
go. I know.
teams with
I
energy
agree
that
with
can-
that. I agree with that.
Can press.
I agree with that.
We've
I do
got
agree
four
with that.
players that sat on that bench that will press the living daylights out of any defence.
But
But then you've got like they
they
were
just
that
pass it
good.
on
Like
sometimes.
Kobe Mainoo was a spectator last night.
Yeah, he was. Yeah.
And he's
Yeah,
he's
done well as
had a
well.
really good tournament.
He
He's
has.
played. I'm not
Yes,
going to sit down. This is not what I'm doing. But last night they were that good.
It just didn't click in
Nah,
certain positions.
it's one of
Didn't
those-
click.
And
Yeah.
that's where a good manager will impact the game and recognise this isn't working. Right, what can I do?
But he did, didn't he?
Let's put.
He took him
I
off,
would have
didn't he?
took it. How long did it take him to do
Well,
that?
it was quite
60
early so for
minutes,
Southgate.
about
70 or
60.
someone
Oh, was
else.
it 70?
But
That's
not
early for him,
he's
though.
So busy.
That's
Yes,
early for him.
But it's early for him.
Right, I'm going to bring it back to Newcastle United just to end it. It is a question from Josh Stockton. Well, that's why I'm calling it in.
Sorry.
So Josh says, it's a question for you, Bestie. Of course, it's going to be a goalkeeper one. So it says, question for Bestie. As the goalkeeper of the pod, what was Shaka Hislop like when he played for us? I'm too young to remember him for us, but watched him at West Ham. He said he also meant to ask this last week.
I didn't mind him, Shaka. I
Yeah.
love Pav, so I was always a little bit kind of not upset when Shaka played. That's not the right word to use, but
There he is. Look, just
Shaka
peeking-
did do the best save I've
peeking
ever
from
seen.
behind you,
when
Bestie.
he tipped on the post.
He went back. It was
Yeah.
going the other way. And I think it took a deflection. There's Liverpool, perhaps.
Liverpool
Since
was at home.
one of the
In
best
front
saves
of
I've
the Leazes.
ever.
He
Yes.
kind of reaches back. I'm sure he tips on the post and it comes back out.
No, I think he just saved
saved-
it. Like
That's what I've got in mind as well. The exact
what
same one.
a
It
save
was
that was.
phenomenal. That
Yeah, that was when I thought he was the greatest keeper
Yeah.
all time. That
he
ever
was
played
young,
the game.
wasn't he? Come from Reading before
Yeah,
he came to Newcastle. Like, wasn't his first real. He was all right, but then I think there's probably a reason that was signed Shea Given 2 years after we signed Chuck, and he didn't really. He was never the first choice, was he? It was always Pav, and it was a bit like when Given and Harper shared it in 98, 99, was that?
Yeah, well,
He wasn't
Keegan
a-
said
a
to Pav
real
before that Liverpool
top-level
game.
keeper, was he?
Have
Said
you read
to Pav?
Pav's book? He said to Pav, he was saying like before the 4-3, the first one it would have been, I think.
Yeah.
And Keegan said to Pav, like, you've never given us like a Schmeichel moment. Like you've never pulled her out of the shit. Like, you know, when we've really needed you. And that's what he told him before he went out, and obviously just conceded everything that came at him.
Just
Let's be fair, he did. Like,
Great man and manager, isn't he?
no, listen, didn't insult my dad, right? But you got to be careful. But he could have worded it better. Like he could have went, "This is going to be tonight's your night. You're going to have."
Now
X
it's your
moment."
time.
But he was like, "You never pull us out the shit, do you?" Like it's not the
You
greatest.
bastard.
Oh, that's harsh. That.
It is harsh, isn't it? Yeah, it's in
Um,
his book, Pav's book.
But look, like I mean, I've occasionally look back at the old season reviews from around then, and the goalkeeping isn't great from either. To be honest with you.
I didn't think Pav was a very good person.
I loved him,
God
but
bless him. But
looking
yeah,
back, he had some moments. Sorry,
I think I mentioned this to you before when I interviewed Les Ferdinand, it would have been, I can't remember what year it was, probably been about 6 years ago now, maybe thereabouts, 5-6 years ago. You saw me the night after me as well. So how long ago was that? About 5 years ago.
Longer than that, you know.
Do you reckon?
Oh,
No idea. I'll be able to find out. But the question, just to jump in, the question was, if you could replace one of the players in that squad that you were in with a current Newcastle United player, who would it be? And he didn't even have a think about it. He went goalkeeper.
I remember
He said we would have won the league if it wasn't for the goalkeeper.
we nearly signed.
probably agree with that.
I've heard, and I forget who I heard this from now, but a while ago, and it's someone that I've heard it from that I think, yep, it'll be true. That we nearly signed Tim Flowers in around 94-ish, and that's a league winning sign. Look how well he did at Blackburn. You know, he would have. That would have been my moment. Like a sliding doors one. You win the league with Tim Flowers and the rest of that team. And I love Pav, and I love Shaka as well because he's Shaka Hislop. You know what I mean?
And then he wore the top of the night, you know, swear to God, the sunset when I put it on.
Aye.
And I thought I just couldn't. I just didn't feel right, so I took it off.
No. But no, it was,
that's a Shaka top for me. Like,
Yeah.
just a Shaka top.
Yeah, it is.
yeah. But nah, it was. I liked him, but I think I would probably say if you're going to change one person from that team, a lot of people probably say Darren Peacock, which things have been unfair because he was only defender wide, really. I will be goalkeeper.
All right. Let's end it there, boys. Thanks everybody who has watched live tonight. It means a lot to us. If you do like the video, just hit that like button as well. Helps us out a lot. Become a subscriber as well. We're well over 11,000 now, so help us keep pushing to the next milestone. It's really freaking us out that you're just staring at us there.
No, I'm looking, wondering.
Yeah,
we need them to start releasing some more training kits because we're all going to be sitting here in red and white before too long. So
yeah.
We're cataloguing the two.
One's already out, you know.
I've got that one.
I think we're going to see that in the next week.
but
We'll see
dad-
something.
We're all
in the
down to
next
young
week.
kids, so that the white ones are no
Yeah,
go for me. Like Rebecca's got one.
no go. If you do want to become a member as well, it is just $2.99 a month starting from to become a member as well. So that helps us out massively. Bestie, we're going to sign now because these two have already gone. Look,
I don't know what's
Look,
happened.
look,
10 minutes ago.
look.
we won Les
It's
Ferdinand.
rude.
we were never Les Ferdinand.
Was it the Sportsman's Dinner? At,
There's one ahead of us. He done the rounds in the northeast. Hey, anyway, thanks everybody. See you later. Ta-ra.
bye, everyone.